So let's go for it. The future 2026 election, what's going to happen, or what can we do, or whatever? Go for it, Guy.
All right. So this is my lane. Mark, I actually wore my work shirt today. WCT, World Class Technology, Digital Manufacturing Validation. What is digital manufacturing validation? My whole career has been in the manufacturing world, where we are analyzing data off the production lines and addressing our voter rolls is some of the most simple fixes around. We're working in this production world where complexity abounds, and we got that fixed. Why in the heck can we not do the same thing with our voter rolls? Well, we can. It's just that we're fighting, like you said, we're fighting the bureaucracy of people who want to cheat with the elections. So we can't do what we do in the auto industry. We can't even do that in our own voter rolls. Well, I'm here to tell you that there's hope, because I know two candidates, Monica Utuma, Amanda Love. We have two solid SOS candidates who will absolutely fix the voter rolls. And how do we fix the voter rolls? The key thing that everyone wants answered is, how do we know when we're given vote counts that those are accurate vote counts? Well, we've solved this. We've already solved this when it comes to when we get production off of a production line. How do we know that that part is within tolerance? All these numbers are floating around. It's called validation. So a crankshaft, I'll just use that example, goes through a final buy-off, and that crank has to be down to the microns, all right? Down to the microns, has to be within specification. And if it doesn't pass in one machine, it gets sent over to the other test station, and those numbers should match. Well, if they don't match, we have a validation issue. If it rejects in one but passes in the other, we're looking at these kinds of numbers all the time to make sure that these numbers are validated, and it all gets into making sure that we are producing parts that are within spec. So the key thing with the voter rolls is we can apply that same concept called validation using multiple methods. I'm going to get into two for your listening audience. So we get our results using the existing tabulators, and we have to do that because the law requires us to continue moving in that direction. But we can still validate the election results by backing it up with a hand count from the paper ballots. That's number one. That is a way that you can validate the results. And there's a lot of people that are, Patrick Colbeck, myself, many others, who are promoting that way of doing it. That is, that involves labor, time, additional resources, right? There's another option that not many people are talking about, but I'm going to share it here for your listeners. It's called collecting those digital ballot images off the tabulators. Now, Anthony Polini did a good thing. He did that in the November 2024 election. It's on his website. He said, I got all the ballot images. We FOIA'd for those ballot images. He won't give us the source data. He won't give it to us. That's an issue. That's a huge issue, because there's so much information. There's a lot of intel we can pull from those digital images. Remember, I'm a digital guy. I know what can happen with having those source data files, which would be TIFF file format, the graphics, right? We can confirm if any ballots were duplicated. We can confirm that they were all created on the day of or before the election date. In other words, we can also get down into the pixels, just like in manufacturing, we get to the microns. in the digital picture world, we can get down to the pixels, and we can confirm if there's any malfeasance with those vote tabulators. In other words, if there's hidden files creating manual marks, we can confirm if there's any shenanigans going on if we have those original files. What did we get from Macomb County? We got copies of the digital images in low resolution PDFs, which there's still some intel we can pull from that, but we can't do what we really want to accomplish, right? And we still don't have a reason from Macomb County why they won't give us the source data. So what did we discover with what they did give us? We discovered just by doing counts. How many ballot images do we have? What are the statement of votes cast? These are the numbers off the tabulators. 10% of those ballot images did not match the statement of votes cast. There's 310-ish precincts. 30 of them, you had 1 to 300 missing ballot images. And it gets even more shocking. There was one precinct where you had over 150 more ballot images than you had vote counts. So that kind of issue where things are not validating between the ballot images to the vote counts, that is a huge issue. Can we do a lot more with that? Yeah, if Tony will provide the source data, then there's a lot more we could tell. There were some issues with that election, if you recall, Mark, and we can get to the bottom of that. The key thing is the sheriff who ran in the sheriff race, he was the only Republican that did not win any of the county-wide events. There was a huge difference there. Now, we would be able to run 500,000 ballots in under 10 minutes if he would give us those ballot images. But right now, what Anthony Fellini is doing, and you'll confirm this with this gentleman, Mikowski, when you talk to him next week, they want to charge him $75,000 to do a manual recount. Just give us those ballot images, Anthony, and we can confirm that you're on the up and up with that election. It's really that simple.